Hey everybody, this is Jordan Brown with fun and affordable MTG, bringing you another Tiny Leaders deck tech. Today we have Mathas Fiend Seeker leading a Mardu deck list. Mathas Fiend Seeker is a 3/3 for red, white, black that has Menace, and at the beginning of your end step, put a bounty counter on target creature an opponent controls. For as long as that creature has a bounty counter on it, it has, whenever this creature dies, each opponent draws a card and gains 2 life. So the point of this deck, as you can kind of see from the deck list over here, is you want to have some decent vampires, some of which benefit from other creatures dying, and want to have a lot of good removal, so that we can be swinging in with our vampires while we use our efficient removal to destroy our opponent's creatures and fill up our hand while we gain life. So let's go ahead and look at the cards we got in this deck. First up, we got our creatures, obviously. We got some efficient attackers like Vicious Conquistador, who attacks and each opponent just loses 1 life. We got Blood Artist, who makes opponents lose life and us gain life based on creatures dying. We have Gatekeeper of Malakir, which is a 2/2 for black and kicker black. When it enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, target player sacrifices a creature. So that's some decent removal. It's not the same as targeted removal, but as we're targeting down our opponent's creatures, they really should only have 1 or 2 creatures in play. Gifted Aetherborn is just a decent vampire. It's a 2/3 for black with Death Touch and Lifelink. And of course, with the advent of Rivals of Ixalan, we've got Legion Lieutenant, a 2/2 for white-black that gives other vampires we control +1/+1. Malakir Callblade is a 1/1 for 1 black that gets +1/+1 counters whenever our opponent's creature dies. Martyr of Dusk is another Rivals of Ixalan card. It's a 2/1 for 1 white. And when it dies, we get to create a white vampire creature token with lifelink. So that means we can be as aggressive as we need to with him, even though he doesn't have evasion. Slumgar Assassin is a 2/1 for 1 black, and creatures with power greater than a Slumgar Assassin's power can't block it. However, it's got Megamorph, which lets us play it face down for 3, and then turn it face up anytime for its Megamorph cost and give it a +1/+1 counter. And when it's turned face up, destroy target creature with power 3 or less an opponent controls, which is going to be a fair number of them most of the time, considering we are in Tiny Leaders. Tithe Drinker is a 2/1 for white-black with lifelink and Extort. Extort is very good in Tiny Leaders because as we play more spells and the game keeps going, we're just going to have excess mana, and this lets us shorten that time frame. It lets us drain our opponent. We got Forerunner of the Legion, which is a 2/2 for 2 white from Rivals of Ixalan. When it enters, we get to search for a vampire card, reveal it, and then shuffle our library and put that card on top of it. So it's basically a tutor for vampires, which is going to be pretty good. Obviously, we have 2 non-vampire creatures in the deck, but that's not a big deal. This lets us go and get some of our removal vampires or just quality vampires. And then, of course, whenever another vampire enters the battlefield under your control, target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Drana's Emissary is a 2/2 for 1 white-black with flying. At the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life. And Royal Assassin is a 1/1 for 1 black who is not a vampire, but we can tap him to destroy target tapped creature, so that's just more premium removal. Stormkirk Captain is a 2/2 for 1 black-red with First Strike, who gives other vampires we control +1/+1 and First Strike. Vampire Nighthawk is a 2/3 for 1 black with Flying, Death Touch, and Lifelink. Just load it up with those keywords. And then, to round out the creatures, we have Yahenni, Undying Partisan, who is 2 and a black for a 2/2 with Haste, and whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, put a +1/+1 counter on it, and then we can sacrifice another creature to give Yahenni indestructible until end of turn. So now we're going to be looking at our spells, which consist pretty much just removal. We got Banefire for X in red. It lets us deal X damage to target creature or player, and if X is 5 or more, it can't be countered by spells or abilities, and the damage can't be prevented. So this is going to be our good targeted removal on main phase that we can just hit anything no matter the toughness, or if we need to, we can close out the game with some burn damage. Fatal Push is very good in Commander because it's going to hit, for 1 black, it's going to hit anything with converted mana cost 2 or less, or if we've lost something, like we do this main phase 2, or after we block with creatures, it can get pretty much anything in the entire game that doesn't have Hexproof or Shroud. Lightning Bolt is obviously premium removal. It's 3 damage for 1 red. Abrade lets us target only creatures for 3 damage for 1 in a red, but we can also blow up artifacts as we need to. Of course, we got Arc Trail coming in for 1 in a red. It lets us hit, ideally, multiple small creatures, or if we need to, we can also hit our opponents with a little bit of burn. We got Doomblade, which destroys non-black creatures for a 1 and a black. We got Dreadbore, which destroys target creature or planeswalker, which we're not going to see a ton of planeswalkers, for a black and a red. We got Go for the Throat, which is similar to Doomblade, but it hits non-artifact creatures. We got Orzhov Charm, which gives us plenty of options, including destroying creatures. We got Puncturing Light, which destroys creatures that are attacking or blocking with power 3 or less for 1 in a white. And we got Reef Soul for 1 in a black that destroys target creature with power 3 or less, period. Ride Down is a red and a white to destroy target blocking creature, and then creatures that were blocked by that creature this combat gain trample until end of turn. Afterlife is 2 and a white to destroy target creature. It does give our opponent a 1/1 white spirit creature token, but we have enough flying. I'm not worried about that. Not to mention, it gives them something else for us to put a bounty counter on if they don't have any other creatures in play when we blow up their creature. Hero's Downfall is 1 black to destroy target creature or planeswalker, and Mortify is 1 white to destroy target creature or enchantment. And of course, our only artifact in the deck is Executioner's Capsule, which lets us Doomblade, because we can play it for a black, and then anytime we can pay 1 in a black, tap it, and sacrifice Executioner's Capsule for that Doomblade effect. Finally, we're going to be taking a look at our lands. Barbarian Ring is probably one of the most interesting lands in this deck. It lets us tap for red mana, and it deals 1 damage to us, but we can also pay a red as long as our threshold is active, which is 7 or more cards in our graveyard, and tap it and sacrifice Barbarian Ring to have it deal 2 damage to target creature or player. It's basically shock sitting around and waiting, and if we need it for mana, it's another pain land. The other lands consist of 1 of each of the Pain lands and the Khans of Tarkir / Fate Reforged life gain lands, such as Battlefield Forge, Bloodfell Caves, Caves of Koilos, Scoured Barrens, Sulphurous Springs, and Windscarred Crag. And also, we've got Nomad Outpost because while it enters the battlefield tapped, it taps for every color of mana we're gonna need. And then, of course, we round out the deck with 3 mountains, 3 plains, and 4 swamps. So you can find the deck right up here at mtggoldfish.com/deck/8686696 #paper. Once again, this was a Mathas Fiend Seeker deck. You can get it for approximately $35 on TCG Player, direct, or through verified sellers. The price may fluctuate as Rivals of Ixalan comes out, or as people buy this deck. And once again, the music you have heard here playing in the background is by Kevin MacLeod. I hope you all have a great day and a good time playing Tiny Leaders.